Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, brought to you each week by the National Sports Collectors Convention. Join us every Wednesday evening at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time and get the latest news from the greatest experts in the sports collectibles world. You can watch us on the Great American Collectibles Facebook page, as well as YouTube, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. And now your hosts, award-winning sports collectibles author Tom Zappola and Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli.
Okay, guys, we are here. Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show. Tom Zapp, my partner in crime, Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli. Hey, Rick.
Well, how you doing? Listen, I'm very disappointed here in Florida.
Why is that?
It rained so hard yesterday, it came into the lanai in the place we're here. I was up last night sopping it up with a mop, and it didn't work. It kept coming down. I mean,
we had very little here, very little here on the East Coast, but that's okay. I'd rather you have it than us. Hey, we have a great show today. Rico and I, we are going to be doing a great event that we're really excited about on March 8th, Saturday, March 8th at the Wildwood Community Center, just outside of the Villages. It's going to be the Ultimate Sports Collectors event. And we have several of the gentlemen that are going to be involved. Myself and Rico, Michael Osacky from PSA, the PSA Authenticator, will be joining us a little later on. But right now we have our good friend, Tom Ruggie. Tom is an avid collector. One of his collection of Topps 1952 signed cards is incredible. We're going to talk about that. Tom's a national speaker, author on sports collectibles, you name it, he's done it. Also founder and CEO of Ruggie. I love that. Ruggie Wealth Management. Then we also have Tom Casey, Rico. Now, yes. Tom is the president of the Villages Red Sox Nation, which is about 500, 600, 700 strong. Tom is going to be joining us because the event is going to be in conjunction with Tom's group. And then we have a utility player that just came in at the 11th hour, who we know, Stu Sachs from the Villages Card Collectors Club. Now, Stu, you were past president, weren't you?
I was the president, yes.
Yeah, Stu was past president, but Bill Steinberg, who is the current president, was supposed to be on with us, but Bill's a little under the weather, so they recruited Stu. Stu, we go back, I think it's got to be 10, 12 years ago, right?
Easily.
Yeah, Ellen and I did a book signing. I don't even remember which book it was, but we did a book signing.
The T2 something?
Oh, so that had to be 15 years ago.
Right.
The T206 collection. When the book first came out, we did a book signing there. We had a great time. Great group of people. So I think we're gonna be all over the place today. So let's get it going. First, Tom, tell us about the event. Give us kind of an overview.
Sure. Well, Red Sox Nation is a group of about 600 avid, crazy Red Sox fans, and we meet monthly. And so our program for March is going to be the collectibles show that Tom Ruggie is presenting, and having you guys there is going to be a lot of fun. So
yeah, we're going to have some fun with it.
Look forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would expect that we'll get a couple hundred members from our club, and and Stu will have some from his club, and
good.
And then hopefully the advertising will reach the general public, and we'll have a great event.
Tom Ruggie, can you give us an overview of the whole event, kind of what's going to transpire?
Yeah. So as you already mentioned, Michael Osacky is going to be there. He does the PSA authenticating. Of course, the two of you are going to be there, and Tom Zappola is going to head everything up, kind of do a little panel discussion. I'm sure Red Sox Nation is going to show up in troves to see and get to meet Rico. So it's going to be a great event. I'm looking really forward to it. And by the way, Tom Casey, isn't your group the largest fan base outside of Massachusetts for the Red Sox?
Yes, I think we still are. We're smaller now because COVID stopped people from coming to a lot of meetings, and so we're about half the size we used to be. But it would help if the Red Sox would get back on a tear too.
Oh, Rico, what do you say about that?
Yeah, it has. No, I remember when we were there last time. I think I've been there 2 or 3 times now. We spoke, and it was tremendous crowd. I mean,
Wait a minute. We did the show from there too, didn't we?
Yes,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I did. I did alone. Then you and Ellen would remember we did that.
That's one of the restaurants. I can't remember what restaurant it was, but we had fun. That was a good time.
That was a great time. That's a great place. I mean,
Gators Dockside.
Is that what it was, Stu?
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
that was...
remember, I almost got run over by a golf cart, but I didn't mind that. It's an amazing place if you really think about this. What the village is, how it's grown and how it started, the history, and all that. It's a fabulous story as far as I'm concerned. But we look forward to it. I really do. Seeing you guys and seeing the fans.
Yeah, just kind of an overview for what Rico and I are going to be doing, along with Tom and Michael. So Rico, we'll have a Q&A. Rico and I will get into some discussions.
That's the best thing.
Well, I have a couple of questions that I always have in my back pocket.
Well, don't ask. You're going to ask him now?
I'm not going to ask him now. No.
Him?
And then we open it up to a Q&A with the audience. And I got to tell you something, folks, and you guys know this. You three gentlemen know this. When Rico gets up there and starts talking, the last time we were there, people were laughing in the aisles. Rico, some of the stories.
Well, yeah, I mean, in my era, it was a lot looser than it is now. These guys are making so much money, and the press is right on their backs. I mean, if they say something controversial, a little. Even say about the manager or the player, wow, it's big headlines. So with that, even though the money's great, I don't begrudge them, but it was a different time in Mary. We had stories, we had laughs, we had,
I'm just going to preface this by saying Rico unequivocally does the best Louis Tiant and George Scott impersonation that you've ever seen. That's all I'm saying.
Do it. But a story like what the heck's his name now? Raditz and oh God,
Eckersley?
No, in the bullpen in those days, because I came up in '63 for the month, September call up. So I went on the road with the team. We're in Chicago, and Raditz and gosh,
was he a reliever?
Sorry. Yeah,
Johnny Wyatt
used to call tomatoes. Anyway, he and Raditz, when they were in Chicago, they get this kid to go get them slices of pizzas and hot dogs and eat them. So this guy, the other pitcher, he's eating pizza, right? He gets called into the game. Billy Herman's Pesky's the manager. I'm sorry. So he goes out there and tomatoes, he's got sauce all over his uniform. He says, "What the hell's that?" Pesky was telling us, "What is that?" He says, "Oh, geez, yeah, some kid threw a tomato at me." I don't know how he got away with that, but unbelievable stuff.
Hey, guys, feel free to jump in, by the way. Anybody, feel free to jump in. I do want to talk to Tom Ruggie. Tom, I want to talk about your collection, first of all.
Sure.
Give us a little overview. I mean, I don't know how you've accomplished what you've accomplished thus far. Tell our audience about your collection and what's special about it.
Well, I mean, how it's been accomplished is just being OCD by nature, and even going back to the days of collecting card sets as a kid. And I told this to somebody recently. My first set that I completed as a kid was the 79 top set, and I was missing one card. I was missing a Mario Soto. And I'll bet you I bought like 3 boxes of cards trying to find that one card. And so a big part of my collection now is autograph cards, and it really is kind of the same. It's the same feel, which I think is what brings all of us back. That our collectors is kind of bringing you back to when you were a kid, and in my case, just trying to complete a set. And looking for the grail. So you mentioned the 52 set. I have 401 out of the 407 cards for the 1952 set, all signed, all graded, all PSA slabbed.
But you don't have the Mona Lisa yet, right? Or do you?
The Mona Lisa
Of that collection.
the mantle?
Who?
Yeah.
Mantle.
Oh no. I've got everybody famous. I mean, the funny part is, and why I bring up the Mario Soto deal is the remaining 6 that I need, by and large, are not big name people.
Oh,
They're
okay.
just very difficult to get. And
Tom,
you know, I'll end up spending a small fortune probably if I ever have the opportunity to get those 6 cards, and I'll put it into a box because, you know, I'm not going to display a card of somebody nobody knows.
I want to ask you.
It's the hunt.
Yeah.
Ahead,
well, how'd you get the autographs? Did you mail cards out to the guys and they send them back?
I mean, I've been doing that. I mean, I did that as a kid. And,
That's what I mean, yeah.
And then going to shows, and then everything else, though. You know, my mantle I bought at auction.
Yeah.
You know, I just bought the Campanella this past year, which is the only one that's graded that's in the PSA system. So you know, I buy a lot of them at auction as well.
Do you recommend collectors mailing cards to players? Would you recommend that, or would you say, wait a minute, see if you can get it in person or whatever?
I think it depends on you know, what the goal is. You know, again, I did it as a young kid. I used to send out like 10 letters a week for like a year and got all sorts of stuff back. But you know, but also nowadays, you know, I although passion is my number one, you know, is the number one criteria. I still do look at things as, you know, is this an investment? Is it going to go up in value? And you know, you're at risk from a value standpoint sending something off because it's, you know, the corners of the card is going to get bent or, you know, whatever. Right. But again, it you know, as a kid, I would do it all over again because it's just really fun.
I want to. This is a question for both Tom and Stu. Tom first. Tom Ruggie's, you know, talking about signed cards. Stu, are you seeing an influx with your collectors of these guys collecting signed cards?
Not anymore. Not as much as it was for a while.
Really? Because my question is, you know, I can't remember who I was talking to. I think it was Joe Tomasulo from Golden, and you know, he brought out a very good point because my grandson has a what's his name? Rico, the kid, the new kid that's a rookie.
For who?
For the Sox, one of the 3 kids, the outfielder, the big kid.
Yeah,
Roman Anthony. So
Roman,
my grandson, he picked up like a really very cool Roman Anthony rookie signed card. And he called me up. He said, look. I said, oh man, that's a great card. And he says, do you know what it's worth? And I didn't. So I called Joe Tomasulo, and Joe and I were talking. And I says, Joe, I mean, you know, if this were 10 years ago, this card would be worth a lot of money. And he basically said, yeah, unfortunately now rookie signed cards, they're not worth that. I mean, they're worth money, but the problem is that they're coming out of the gate from the manufacturer's side. So they're signing these deals with like Tops, and they're signing X amount of cards, and then they come in the Tops packages. So as a result, if you go buy one, it's really not worth as much as you think it's worth. Which, you know, it's
unless he becomes a superstar, and
no, even if he's a superstar is the point. Even if he becomes,
I don't know. I just saw an Ohtani signed card just went for a pretty good chunk of change. With
but you know something, Tom, you're right. There are some exceptions to the rule, and Joe told me this. Some of the Ohtani cards, some of the Trout cards,
Judge,
yeah, some of those cards,
yeah, like those.
Yeah, some of those cards were kind of out before the floodgates opened up. At least that's what Joe said.
Yeah, but it's also the number of cards that they produce. And like the Ohtani card, in certain ones of them, they produce a lot less. So when they do have them signed, it may only be 100 or 200 or 10 cards or
Good
something
point.
like that.
Mm.
Rather than a lot of them, they come out now and it could be 1,000 cards or 2,000 cards that they're having them sign.
Yeah.
And it floods the market. The more there is, the less it's worth.
Tom Casey, do you
It
see?
can become saturated, and that's
there's no doubt. There's no
yeah,
doubt.
and that's why I focus my collection on vintage, because there's only so many Babe Ruth signed items. There's only so many.
I couldn't agree with
Yeah,
you more.
of course.
Tom Casey, are you seeing that now? I know Red Sox Nation. Do you get involved with talking about collecting cards, especially Red Sox cards?
We typically do
Any
once
cards.
a year. Last year we had Bill Steinberg from the Sports Collectables Club come over and give us a lesson on all that, and we're looking forward to Mike coming back and doing the same. We have a few collectors in the club that have things going back to before Rico.
Really?
Oh, that far?
Hey, Rick, you know who they did you already have Dewey there, or is he coming?
He came last Friday.
Yeah. Rick,
Yeah.
your buddy was there.
Dwight Evans?
Yeah.
Dwight Evans, yeah, he was up
Oh.
here Friday.
Great. Yeah, he's a great guy. What a player.
Boy. He looks like he could go out and play right field right now.
Oh, yeah, he keeps himself in great shape. But Matt, here's an outfield: Rice, Evans, and Fred Lynn. That's best ever. The best outfield in the history of the Red Sox.
And that's statistically accurate, Rico.
Yeah,
Rico, according to AI.
For once, Rick, I agree with you. For once.
Oh,
what do you guys think? What do you guys think of? I think I know, Stu, you're a Mets fan, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, my condolences. But in any event, I think the Red Sox are going to be. I think they're going to shock a lot of people this year. I really do, and I think it's going to be because of these three kids that are coming: Mayer, Raymond, and what's the other kid's name? The real stud. The second baseman. To hell.
Oh, Christian Campbell.
Christian Campbell. Yeah,
What about the third base situation? The controversy?
Oh.
Huh? Devers?
You know what I would do?
We want to do what's best for the team. Wouldn't you think so, Rico?
Of course. Are you kidding me?
You know, I posted that, Rick. I didn't tell you this, but I posted that on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
That, and I used you as an example, and I can't tell you how many people really agreed that, when they asked you to step to third base, you didn't bitch, right?
You said, yeah, are you kidding, for the team?
You're right.
You're going to do everything. You're in the lineup, right? So, there was one other guy that wouldn't move. Can you guess who it is?
For you guys?
He was a shortstop after me. Came way after me. He was a shortstop.
Yeah, I do. John Valentin.
John.
Right?
They asked him to move. He just couldn't do it. And there was a lot of criticism for him,
It shortened his career.
Yep, John Valentin.
That's right.
We are chatting with Tom Casey, Stu Sachs, Tom Ruggie. Rico's here physically and mentally today, which I'm very, very impressed with.
How about Heine Minouche? Is Heine Minouche there?
No, he's not. Yeah, no, not yet. Before we take a quick break, I want to ask you guys, Tom Ruggie, you mentioned vintage is the way to go. Let's get into the modern / vintage argument. Is vintage the way to go, Tom Casey?
I would think so, because there's only so many of those guys that are in the hall and that came from that era. So
Stu, what year would start vintage? In other words, going from now.
Well, it used to be
50s?
It used to be pre-70s, 60s, and back, but now it's really pre-80s. I mean, a lot of collectors look at the 70s as vintage.
Really?
I'm actually one of those. I look at vintage up until the point where Topps dominated. Was really the only game in the market.
Yeah.
As far as cards go.
I mean, but Rico, you and I, and I'm sure Stu. I mean, we look at guys from the 70s. I look at that as kind of like the modern market.
Me too. I do
know
too.
What I mean? Right?
I do too. I'm from the age and the area of Rico. I'm from Brooklyn.
Hey,
I grew I grew
Dodgers?
up diehard Dodger fan. I cried for years after they left and everything like that.
Yeah, I
For me,
remember.
it's the mid to late '60s is late.
60s.
That I would say that's the vintage now because
Yeah.
of the players that played into the '60s.
Well, I always thought it was the 50s, early 50s.
Yeah, the early
That-
50s
that's
is
it.
really, yeah, definitely. But you still have the Mantles who played into the '60s.
Yeah,
and players
Aaron.
like that, Mays and
Yeah.
All right, listen, we're
Anyway,
going to take a quick
okay.
break. Tom is in the house. Tom is in the house. Stu is in the house. Rico's in the house. There's an alligator right outside Rico's door.
Hi, come over for dinner? Yeah, I'll be there.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Hang in there.
All
We
right.
will be right back.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectables Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
Are you a collector looking for that rare trading card or autograph ball or photo? If so, then PB Collectibles in Newport is the place for you. PB Collectibles has graded cards, raw cards, complete sets, and wax boxes of the stars of the future, today, and from the past. We also offer a large selection of both vintage and modern cards. So whether you're looking to add to your collection or sell it, visit us at PB Collectibles, 269 Spring Street in Newport, located across from St. Mary's Church. We are your neighborhood card shop and much more.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Okay, we are back. And for our friend Sarik, tell us about the bills you got.
Yeah, no, we were having trouble with the mail, right? We've been here 2 months.
You do realize that the entire country heard the conversation.
Well, see, we get bills too. See, former players and all this, and a lot of them.
Yeah, actually.
So anyway,
yeah, we're having some technical difficulties with the system. So I am the only one.
Yeah, you're the system.
I'm the only one that can hear the commercials while we're taping. Obviously, you folks now, you can hear them and see them and all that stuff. But while we're taping the show, I'm the only one that can hear them. And Rico, I've asked Rico like 400 times, Rico, you got to kind of be careful, be quiet, right? But that's okay.
Well, I can't hear you.
All right.
Go ahead.
It is time right now for the Great American Collectibles AIC GAX Baseball Tournament, brought to us each week by our good friend Paul Borges and the staff at PB Collectibles, your neighborhood card shop. Go to pbcollectibles.com to purchase that special vintage card that you have been looking for. All right. For those of you that don't know, but I think most people know, we started a tournament. We started a tournament. That was Elsie, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. We started a tournament, a Sweet 16 tournament. I'm going to give you the 16 greatest teams of all time, according to AI. Number 1, the 1927 Yankees, Murderers Row. Number 2, the 1906 Chicago Cubs. Number 3, the 75 Big Red Machine, Cincinnati Reds. Number 4, the 98 New York Yankees. Number 5, the 2001 Seattle Mariners. Number 6, the 1939 New York Yankees. Number 7, the 61 New York Yankees. Number 8, the 84 Detroit Tigers. Number 9, the 1919 Chicago Black Sox. Number 10, the 2004 Boston Red Sox. Number 11, the 42 St. Louis Cardinals. Number 12, the 86 New York Mets. Number 13, the 95 Atlanta Braves. Number 14, the 70 Baltimore Orioles. Number 15, the 29 Philadelphia Athletics. And number 16, Stu and Rico, your 1955 Brooklyn Dodgers.
Yes.
So last week, in week 7, the 1961 Yankees played the 2004 Boston Red Sox in a single elimination game. As you know, that's what we're doing. And here are the results. The starting pitchers were, for the Yankees, Whitey Ford, and for the Red Sox, Curt Schilling. And here is a little breakdown, not inning by inning, but we skip around. From first inning, top of the first, Bobby Richardson singles, and Mantle doubles him in. 1-0, Yankees. Bottom of the first, Bronson Arroyo Curt Schilling is the starter, and he strikes out 2 of the first 3 Yankee batters. Top of the third, Maris homers to center, making it 2-0. Bottom of the third, Bill Miller singles, Manny Ramirez walks, David Ortiz crushes a 3-run homer off of Whitey Ford, Rico, over the Green Monster, and Boston leads 3-2. Fourth inning, Yogi Berra singles, Clete Boyer walks, Mickey Mantle singles, home 1 run, and a Maris sac fly makes it 4-3 Yankees. Bottom of the fourth. Manny doubles. Ortiz singles him home. And Kevin Millard doubles Ortiz home. And the Sox take a 5-4 lead. Seventh inning. Trot Nixon's RBI single scores Dave Roberts, who was pinch running, and it's 6-4 Boston. Ninth inning. Keith Folk strikes out Mantle and gets Maris to fly out, sealing a 6-4 Red Sox victory. Okay, guys, now you can blab about what an injustice this was. Go ahead, Rick.
That's right. AI, you could stick AI, where, but the 61 Yankees are comparable to the 27 Yankees.
Get out of here.
I would say the Red Sox, and the 2014 was a great team. There's no doubt about it. It was but they did have some. Or did they? Was that what's his name? Did they first game at was it Fenway?
First game
you were talking about?
Probably, in the World Series?
Yeah. Okay.
It
doesn't matter.
They swept the Cardinals. I mean, that was crazy.
No, not World. The Yankees against. The Yankees.
No. First game was at Yankee Stadium.
Yankee Stadium. I'll tell you what, they never would have won a game at Yankee Stadium. Because Ford, one of the things Ford could do, and that's why he was Whitey Ford on that particular year. I think he was 25-4, and at Yankee Stadium he would have kept the ball up the middle. Okay, well I know because he's did it to all the other teams.
Wait a second, didn't you? When you met Mantle, wasn't Ford on the mound when you met Mickey Mantle for the first time? Didn't you? He walked you, right?
No, I singled off him.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, Hawkins are up the middle.
Mr. Ruggie, what do you think?
I got 2 hits off him.
I think it's interesting conversation. There's just it's so difficult to compare the different era. I mean, today, starting pitchers go maybe 5 innings or a little bit longer. And then, there's a menagerie of other pitchers that come in for 1 inning at a time. And so I think the pitching matchup, it's difficult to simulate those differences. And I also think it's difficult to simulate just the difference between today's modern player versus a player in the 60s. I mean, if Mantle had all of everything available to him that a current player has, from strength training to nutrition to psychological training to probably helping him not to drink so much, sort of thing. I mean, who knows what he would do in today's era compared to today's players. So it's difficult, but it's fun.
It is. That's exactly. I mean, listen, that's why we did it. And by the way,
can I say something?
Sure, go ahead.
The only pitcher that would have beat the Yankees was Pedro Martinez, and he was 16-9 then. I don't know.
He didn't have it. He was.
Remember
was
after the
he was
from the All-Star game, and there was but Kurt Schilling, and I think he was a hell of a pitcher. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't think he had the stuff because he had a fastball breaking pitch, and the Yankees were a great fastball hitting team. I'm talking about the 61 Yankees,
right?
Okay, Wakefield knuckleball, possibly, but I don't think so.
Really?
And Derek Lowe is another starter, and Bronson Arroyo, great kid, but no way he would beat the Yankees. All right,
Tom Casey, what are your thoughts since you're the head of Red Sox Nation?
That's right.
Sure. Well, I think that the pitching today is an entirely different process, because you've got starters that only go 100 pitches, and then these guys coming out of the bullpen now, they all throw BBs. I mean, they're not guys that in the 50s and the 60s they came out and they were really journeymen back in those days. Now they're kids out of college that are throwing BBs. It's really a different game.
That ball club in 61 would have handled them. Schilling, what did he throw? 94, 95?
Yeah, but Rico, but he was
Pedro had the stuff to beat them.
Yeah, but hold on a second, Rick.
Derek Lowe, come on.
Kurt he didn't overthrow. I understand that, but he had great command. He really had good command. You don't think?
What do you think, he's going to hit the corners every time? What do you think, he's going to break and pitch every time? The Yankees in 61 now.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not talking,
No, I understand.
Time. But these guys, Maris was a fastball hitting unbelievable. Mickey, he'd strike out, but next time up, bang. I just don't think that the Sox, and again, they were a great team, but so was the Yankees. That's just my opinion.
That's good.
I'm a Red Sox.
Stu, what do you say?
I think the 61 Yankees would win it. I mean, Ford was amazing. What did Ford throw? 85 or?
Yeah, but
something like that. But he had terrific command of the plate and everything like that.
Absolutely.
I don't think that the 2004 Sox could have beaten him.
Next week, by the way, it's a pretty good matchup. This is going to be real interesting because
this one was good too.
Well, no, but this is going to be two totally different eras.
Yeah.
Next week, the 1984 Detroit Tigers, which was a great team.
Yep.
Against the 1919.
Morris.
Yeah, against the 1919 Black Sox.
Salute.
That's gonna be interesting. All right.
Yeah. The Black Sox going to throw the game.
That very well could. You have to tune in.
The collectors watching, or the millions of them that are watching, probably remember the 1990 Black Sox.
Well, I know you did.
All right, don't be a wise guy. I was there.
All right, let's get back. I want to just throw this question out to all of you. Rico and I, we've talked about it a lot. Is the card market right now, at this snapshot in time, softening a little bit? Mr. Ruggie, what do you say?
Probably not the biggest expert on this. I think Michael probably has more to say on it. I can tell you from a standpoint of what I collect personally, in the most recent 2 auctions that I bid in, I did not win a number of signed cards I was going for because they just got too far out of range for where I thought they would be. So my experience is no. But again, I'm talking vintage, and I do think that they're, for some of the reasons that Stu talked about, I think the modern cards seem to be struggling a bit more at this point.
I agree with that. Stu, what are your thoughts?
I agree. And I think what happened was the pandemic jumped the prices up astronomically because people had nothing to do. And they started, hey, let me go through my closet, let me do this, and get back into baseball cards, collecting and that type of stuff. And it peaked. It got very, very hard. And I think after that, it started to taper off a lot because they have other things to do now. They can go out and do other things. So I think that has a lot to do with it. It really peaked very, very high. Cards were 10 times the value they were before because everybody wanted them.
Well, the one thing that we're seeing, and Rico and I, Rico, let's talk about when we were in Cleveland last year. There's a young group of collectors. I'm saying between the ages of 13, 14, up to 25, 26. It has become a business for many. I mean, Rico and I, we were sitting in the hotel lobby having lunch. And there must have been 200 kids and young adults with briefcases, walking around, making deals. I mean, talking intelligently, making deals, looking at product. And this one kid walked by Rico and I. That kid was probably 14 years old, Rick.
Yeah.
So he has a briefcase. And I said to the kid, I said, how'd you do today? He said, I did really well. I said, what do you got in there for cards? He says, I don't have any cards left. It's all cash.
Because, along the same line, we had a show, and at the end of the show, we had some cards that we were going to give out to a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
In that age group. Before they would pick the card, they got on their phone to see which cards were the most valuable.
It's
and which
unbelievable.
They felt the best with.
It's unbelievable.
It was really
Yeah,
fun.
but the cycle happens with a lot of things, include, I'm in the investment world. It happens in the investment world. It's happened in watches. It's happened in art. But but the cycle really is something happens to make, in this case, sports memorabilia collectibles skyrocket. And to your point, Stu, COVID really was kind of the impetus behind that. But the other thing that happens is when you start seeing those types of valuations and people start making a lot of money, that attracts a lot of new people in that are looking to replicate that ability to buy something and turn it really quick and make a bunch of money. And that fueled the market for a while. But just like a bubble in the stock market, what ends up happening is it gets oversaturated with people doing that really are just looking to make a quick dollar instead of having the passion for collecting the items.
Well, something. Go ahead, Rick.
Well, no, I was going to ask. In fact, you had mentioned. I was going to ask you, with your company, as Destiny Wealth Management, and your expertise in that field, would you suggest to an investor to also invest for their portfolio?
Good question.
Good vintage cards or cards that are worth decent money, and hold on to them.
Yeah, I mean, don't do that proactively, but I also would not say no. So if a client was like, "Hey, I've got an interest," or "I love what you're doing," I would absolutely do that. But I would do it under the context of, you have to understand there could be a lack of liquidity. There's a lack of understanding what the valuation is. That I actually compare even what I buy, vintage things, I compare it to real estate. And the reason I compare it to real estate is if you buy good real estate, you might be able to flip it in a year or two and do really well, but you also might be down 40% in a year or two.
Good point.
But if you're buying good real estate, if you hold it for 10 years, you're almost never going to lose money. And that's how I feel about vintage sports
Actually,
products.
that's a very good. And don't you think that technology has played a large part in the transformation that has taken place, Tom? I mean, you were at the National last year. I was overwhelmed at some of the new technological advancements, or whatever you want to call them, that's really happened in this hobby. I mean, here's a perfect example, Tom. Rico and I, we did a broadcast. You joined us, I believe, from the Whatnot stage, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Rico and looked at me, and he said, "What's not?" And I said, "Rick, I have no idea." And it's the truth. I mean, it was unbelievable. It's just there's so much technology. When we found out what Whatnot was all about, it's a great concept. So I think the technology has a lot to do with what's happened in the hobby, with the young kids getting involved, and I guess overall it's a really good thing. All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break. We come back. I believe Michael Osacky, the lead authenticator for PSA, is going to join the five of us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us.
Anyway, good. You can count.
So hang in there, and we shall be right back.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free, integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on the tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
Okay, we are back. And before we bring in Michael Osacky from PSA, it is time for On Deck with Rico, brought to us each week by our good friends at RobertEdwardAuctions.com. For extraordinary results, you can go to RobertEdwardsAuctions.com. I bought some really cool stuff off of that website, Rico. Some really cool stuff.
That's good.
All right.
Yeah.
I decided to ask Mr. Ruggie for the On Deck with Rico question. And what is this week's question, Tom?
So, Rico, my question to you, and you've probably been asked this hundreds of times, but as an avid card collector, of course, more autograph cards in my collection, but I'd like to know about your collection of cards. In other words, do you have all of your cards, and whether you do or not, do you have a favorite card that was issued of you, and why is that one your favorite?
Well, when I was playing, I came up in 63 and then 65 for good until 76. Anyway, so the industry wasn't as popular, wasn't strong, nearly as strong as it is now. So we didn't really collect. If it was up to me, I would not have any of my cards because I never thought about it. But my family, my wife, and the kids, they collected, so I have the whole collection of cards.
Well, not to mention, though, Rico, not to mention that, if you recall, remember Joe Orlando? He didn't he give you as a gift like a ton of cards from different years, all encapsulated?
Yes, he did.
Very cool, very cool.
Very nice. It's of him, and then the rookie cards and all that stuff. But I like the one where it's batting,
That is a nice card.
A full swing, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I don't like
card.
the one with my mouth open collecting flies.
But hold on a second. Tell them
why?
Isn't there a story about that card? Tell them the story.
Well, it's about the guy who they used to take those photos in New York because the photographer was there. So the photographer was a jumpy guy, nervous as anything. Of course, we used to break his chops all the time. He used to, if you goosed him, he jumped a foot off the ground. So what happened? How did he get back to us? He put the worst cards up. I think he'd look. So he got me with my mouth open, and I got that card. George Scott. He got one for George Scott. It would have haunted not only a house, would have haunted the country. It was so bad, but we used to get him, boy. And I'm talking about he jumped a foot.
That is
well, who knew? But
really.
Anyway, I have the cards, but I'm not. It's just not big on that. My own cards.
All right, let's bring in Michael, the expert.
That's it.
Michael Osacky from PSA. Michael, how are you, brother?
I'm doing good, Tom. Hey, everybody.
Do we have a video of Michael or just audio?
Video.
No, okay. Video.
Oh, okay. Michael, tell us about, first of all, I know you're a PSA guy. You're a PSA authenticator. Rico, I don't know if you guys know this, but there is a card, a Rico Petrocelli rookie card, that was a PSA 10 signed that sold for 10 grand, Rico, right? It was $10,000 that card sold for.
Yeah.
And that was nice of your son. That was nice.
Somebody drunk, either that or he was drunk. Somebody.
No, I remember that. Yeah, that was really, really cool.
How about Michael, the ball? How about the Beirut ball?
Tom Ruggie, I don't know if you know. I know Michael Osacky knows this story, but real quickly, Tom Casey and Stu, Rico, there is one ball that is circulating somewhere in this world, signed by Babe Ruth and Rico Petrocelli.
The guy insisted I was his favorite player. I said, I'm not going to sign a Babe Ruth ball. He said, please, you got to sign. I don't care. It's fine. I said, yeah, all right.
And you signed it.
I signed
it. It's probably displayed with Rico Petrocelli out and the Babe Ruth is like buried at the bottom of
Exactly. All right, let's bring him. Hey, Michael, first of all, why don't you tell us about your role at PSA?
Sure, and I should correct you. I am the lead.
It is, Mike.
I am the lead appraiser of PSA, not the lead authenticator.
I'm sorry. You're right. I know. So that was a brain fart. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
At your age, you're old. That's why.
So I do the evaluation. So people will come to me and hire me if they need a formal evaluation and appraisal for insurance, donation, estate, or divorce purposes. So I travel a lot across the country, even across the world, assigning values to usually voluminous collections that have lots of value.
You want to talk about, can you quickly run us through your process, or do you want to hold off on that, on the 7 or 8 step process?
I'll hold off on that until the event. I think a lot of
Okay,
the
good.
attendees are gonna like that.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you. Michael will be appearing at the event. And by the way, we're going to talk about the event on March 8th. Now, we're going to have like a panel discussion, but Michael's going to be doing a PowerPoint. Tom's going to be up there, Q&A. Rico will be speaking. Rico's going to be signing after the event. There is an admission fee. I think it's like $10 to get in, or something like that. If you buy your tickets in advance, Tom, it's $5, correct?
That's correct.
Correct.
So Rico will be signing. Michael's going to be up there. And Michael, I guess you're going to authenticate 3 items that we're going to pick out of the audience.
So there's going to be 3 audience members, and I'm going to give them a quick, free verbal appraisal on what they have. It could be anything, but it's got to be sports related. It could be a signed baseball. It could be a game news jersey. It could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
That's
and
interesting.
after the event, we're going to have a little, people will be able to mingle. Rico will be at a table. Michael will be at a table, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, Michael. You can chat with Michael. He is not going to authenticate or appraise anything if you walk up to him with a piece of memorabilia, but he may be able to answer questions. Is that pretty much the situation, Mike?
Correct. You're 100% correct. I'm looking forward to meeting people, but I will not be appraising anything. But if you have something, feel free to come to the table, ask me a question about it. We can talk about it. And I'm looking forward to meeting as many attendees as I can on Saturday, March 8th.
Yeah,
Michael,
go ahead.
No, I was going to ask him. It's amazing how you got the ability to authenticate, to look at an autograph or card and say, this is this, whatever the worth is. Now, did you, Michael, were you a collector as a kid or still a collector? Because, with your expertise, you can see a card and say, yeah, okay, I think it's worth this. And then whoever's selling it might, have a different price. So I don't mean you don't have to go through the process, but my real question is, did you collect, and become an expert by collecting yourself? Boy, that's a long question, huh? Gee, great.
So I would say there's a couple of good points you had there, Rico. The latter point about the values that I assign could be different from what people think. 99.9% of the people that I come into contact with overvalue what they have. They've had something for 40, 50 years. It's been passed down from a prior generation. So it must be worth $10 million.
Yeah.
To your former point, yes, I got started when I was a kid. I asked my grandparents for some baseball cards for my birthday. And I got a shoebox of some old baseball cards, including a Mike Schmidt rookie card. And that got me on the hunt of trying to find more of them, but really understand the values. And so I would go to card shows on the weekends, and I would see 2 of the same card. Let's say it's a 1980 Topps Ricky Henderson rookie. Why is the dealer selling one for $10 and selling another for $100? It's the same card. Well, he told me it was about condition, and that was something I didn't know anything about back then.
Okay.
So that was my aha moment.
Very interesting.
That's great.
Tom Casey, Red Sox Nation. Do you ever see, like when you have your meetings, do guys bring some really cool Red Sox memorabilia to any of the meetings?
Yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, we had one last year where we had 4 members come in, and one guy brought in a replica scorecard from Ted Williams' last game where he hit a home run his last time up.
Yeah. Wow.
That was one. Somebody else has signatures from the entire 1967 team. And he's got them all in a book. Year by year, he's collected a massive amount of signatures.
Yeah.
Another guy's brought in a Bobby Orr jersey that's signed by Bobby Orr. I mean, that's
cool stuff.
I wonder how much real good stuff was thrown away, years ago.
Sure.
I mean, the shoebox story, that was mine. My brother was a big Yankee fan. He had all the Yankees, DiMaggio, and you name them, all the greats, and it's gone. It's gone. My shoebox. My mother said, "Throw this junk out." Because the industry wasn't.
Yeah, but Rico, think about this. Think about how many pieces of unbelievable memorabilia went through your hands. Think about that, right? You catch Mickey Mantle's last hit. He pops up. You catch it.
Out, yeah.
What do you do with the ball? You throw it on the mound. Now, if you could go back in time and you knew what that ball was going to be worth, do you think you would have thrown it on the mound? Absolutely not.
What if I get a ball and say, "This is Mickey Mantle's"? Can I get away with
you
that?
can't do that. Doesn't work like
Darn
that.
it.
All right. It doesn't work like that.
We say at the Sports Card Club, if everybody's mother didn't throw out their cards, I'd be a million.
Really?
Right.
Really? I mean, that's everybody my age.
I mean, the ball, the Rich Rollins pop-up that you caught. If you knew what that ball is worth, you would have made no effort to get it to Jim Lomborg. It would have gone in your back pocket. Right?
You're singing me, huh? He's singing me. That's why. What other ball? I had another.
Michael, all right. So, Michael, I have a quick question for you before we end this. The other day I told a story, and I'm going to tell it again real quickly. I'll give the Cliff Notes version to you guys. I want to know, in your opinion, Michael, I'm going to ask you to authenticate one thing. So, Rico and I have to go to we get invited to go to a banquet at the Italian American Sports Hall of Fame. And Ellen and I and Rico and Elsie get invited. I was on the board and Rico was an inductee. Obviously, they're inducting Tom DiBenedetto, the vice president and minority owner of the Red Sox. All right. Fast forward, Ellen and I can't go. I call Rico up, says, "Rico, we can't go. We have another engagement." I said, "You guys go, have a great time." So Rico goes, and they have a nice banquet. Rico, right? They induct Tom DiBenedetto. And after when Rico was, when the Red Sox clinched, when he caught the Rollins pop-up, he's got the ball in his hand that he wants to give to Lomborg, and you have one hand on the top of your head to hold your hat down so no one steals it.
Right.
Well, right? Rico's getting towards Lomborg, goes to reach for Lomborg, takes his hand off of the hat in 2 seconds, and some punk grabs the hat and takes off through the crowd. Rico's not happy. But now we fast forward 50, 60 years, whatever it is. Tom DiBenedetto walks up to Rico Petrocelli, hands him the hat, and says, "I was the 17-year-old kid that stole your hat."
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I mean, that's an amazing story. Now, I have a picture of the hat, and we're gonna actually post that, Rico, at the event.
I wish I would have known. I would have brought it with me. Too bad, really.
Well, that's okay, Michael. What would that hat? What is the value of something like that to a Red Sox fan?
It's a pretty decent shape.
I would say, of course, yeah, a lot depends on condition, but really not. It's about the provenance and what that hat stands for. At auction, probably $10,000 to $20,000. If I was to put a retail replacement value, it would be a little bit above that.
Rico, Rick, can you hear me, Rick?
Thank you,
Rico.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. I can come to Florida next year.
Rico, knowing you, that hat is probably stuffed in some drawer that you have at home, right?
No. We got it. You've been in the basement. I got the shelves. Yeah, it's on there. Well, what's his name? Or Bill Cassidy.
Next time I'm at your house, I'm going to swap it out.
You're right. No, but yeah, it means a lot to me. I mean, it used to be a lot to me. That used to be. Wow.
You know, all of a sudden, it's become a memento, right?
Yeah. No, well, thank you very much.
And Michael, one other thing, one other appraisal thing. Rico has the bat that he went 0 for 32 on that he used. Is that worth anything?
The one with the hole in it?
Yeah.
So yes, so you would have to pay me money to take that off of your hand.
All right, listen, we're just about out of time. Michael Osacky, Tom Ruggie, Tom Casey, Stu. We've had a great time with you guys.
Great
Don't forget, everyone, do not forget, March 8th from 1 to 3 at the Wildwood Community Center, 6500 Powell Road, Wildwood, Florida, just outside of the Villages. It's going to be a real fun time. We're gonna have a lot of laughs. Rico is always open to answering any questions that you have, except don't ask him about the 0 for 32. I'm begging you not to ask him about that. But anything else is pretty much fair game.
You thought that was easy, yeah? It's not easy to go 0 for 32.
With that being said, guys, thank
Chrissy,
you so much.
yeah, thank you.
And to our viewing audience, we love you guys. Thank you all for the support. And happy collecting.
Our producer, Chrissy, thank you very much, sweetheart. You did a great job. Okay, she's not talking to me. Oh, you didn't do it.
Happy collecting. No, just kidding.